On the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there is having a good day, even the people that don't like me. Yes, I love you guys. Donald Trump's making the great big giant Iron Dome, the biggest Iron Dome that you'll ever see. It's fantastic Iron Dome. It's the best Iron Dome. It's like the hedge of domes. It's the henge, I should say, right? Like I don't know. It's magical. We have the whole 20 minutes we're going to play. I'm going to do it at a 1.25 speed, so it'll be slow it up a little or speed it up a little. We've got information around this definite false flag that Ukraine's trying to plan. We've been getting this from a few different angles for a few different days right before Trump meets with Putin. I think we, ripple makers, are going to destroy that. We'll see how it plays out, but we're certain to talk about it. We're not going to let it happen. Also, information around Adam Schiff, more illegality type things. Comey also getting caught up in the web. Things are getting interesting. In D.C., spinning that up. Texas, they've got some resolution. I don't know if it's just you or if it's just me, but it seems like a shizzle ton has happened in a very short period of time. That's what I'm here to talk about. That type of crap. Now, I went searching for one of my favorite Stephen Wright jokes. And one of my favorite Stephen Wright jokes, because it's just fitting for this moment right now, is he goes, have you ever sat on this? I'm going to do my best on this, so I apologize if I jack it up, right? I'm going to do my best. It's a tough ass. I mean, he's tough to do. And then I'm going to share some actual Stephen Wright just to make it even better. I couldn't find the damn joke I wanted. It would have been better. But he says, you ever sit on a stool and lean back and you start leaning too far and you start to fall and just at the last second you catch yourself? He says, I feel like that all the time. And that, like, right, like that moment of, like, it's going, that it just feels like the other analogy that I got really quick for what it feels like to me is happening is like Back to the Future. I don't know if you guys remember. I'm just going to use a reference because it's a really good imagery that I think many of you will have in your minds when I say it. But in Back to the Future, the first one when he's the clock tower. Remember, he's gonna get him with 1.21 gigawatts. And he's going to get the lightning strike because they know the perfect time it's going to happen, right? And Marty McFly is down there trying to get the damn thing to start, smacks his head against it, finally goes. And they get down, and he's coming, and the lights are blaring, and the freaking out's happening, and the wire fell off, and he's trying to get it back on. And then that final moment, clink, like the clock had to exactly be when the lightning struck, which is kind of funny in and of itself. Like it could have clunked and within 30 seconds still struck lightning and been correct. But that clunk, when the hand moves, there's that moment, right? Like technically the time is now, it's changed, it's already happened. But you see the mechanics of it. You see the motion happen to make what is technically already right now happening. You see that increment. I feel like the clock hand is actually closing. Like it's in motion. And we are living through it. I think we are. Anyway, here's actual Stephen Wright, just to start with some funnies, because I think he's hilarious.
I called the wrong number today. I said, hello, is Joey there? And a woman answered. She said, yes, he is. I said, can I speak to him, please? She said, no, he can't talk right now. He's only 2 months old. I said, all right, I'll wait. One time, right in the middle of a job interview, I took out a book and I started reading. The guy said, what the hell are you doing? I said, let me ask you one question. If you're in a vehicle and you were traveling at the speed of light, then you turned your lights on, would they do anything? He said, I don't know. I said, forget it then. I don't want to work for you.
I demand more from my employers. Thank you very much. And, of course, just to have a little teeny bit more because you can't have too much Stephen Wright. You really can't. You really can't.
One night I couldn't sleep, so I got up. Then I got hungry, so I went down to the store that I know was open 24 hours. When I got down there was a guy outside locking it up. He said, sorry, we're closed. I said, what do you mean you closed? The sign says open 24 hours. He said, not in a row. Well, you can't have everything. Where would you put it? One night I couldn't sleep, so I...
Yeah, I can love the guy. And you can't have everything. Where would you put it? It's one of my favorite things to say. I quote a bunch of his stuff. I generally give him credit, but he's got so many great bitchin' one-liners that it really does help. It just helps. I don't know what it is about him. All right, so choose Trump with the big, beautiful bill. I wish I could do him better. It's going to come, I think. I hope. I just need that line. Like for me, Sean Connery, it's easy with that. Not all these things racked well to bullets. For some reason, that line can get me into Sean's voice no matter where I'm at. I'm stuck in Forrest Gump. I'm like, well, not all these things are bad, right? And it's like, no, get out of him. Then I have a way. But Trump, I have nothing. I need something. China. It doesn't, I don't know. There's something nasally. I got to get it. I want to get it. I feel like everyone can do his voice. He is so much fun. I want to be able to do that. Anyways. Separate story for a separate day, I could almost say. 1.25 playback for those that are going to be bummed because you're already listening to me fast. Sorry. And for the rest of you, you're welcome. 22 minutes. They cover a lot. They take questions. There's other people that talk. It's the whole thing. The Golden Dome. The protection. The start of the money. We're going to talk a few things extra, but here we go.
Thank you very much, and thank you for being here in the Oval Office, one of the great places of the world, as we make a historic announcement about the Golden Dome Missile Defense Shield. That's something we want, and Ronald Reagan wanted it many years ago, but they didn't have the technology. But it's something we're going to have. We're going to have it at the highest level. I want to thank Secretary Hegseth, who's been fantastic, and Secretary Rubio, and Space Force Vice Chief of Space Operations, General Mike Gutlein. I also want to recognize Senators Dan Sullivan, Kevin Kramer, and Jim Banks, fantastic senators, great talents, great political talents, and people that love our country. In the campaign, I promised the American people that I would build a cutting-edge missile defense shield to protect our homeland from the threat of foreign missile attack. And that's what we're doing. Today, I'm pleased to announce that we have officially selected an architecture for the state-of-the-art system that will deploy next-generation technologies across the land, sea, and space, including space-based sensors and interceptors. And Canada has called us, and they want to be a part of it. So we'll be talking to them. They want to have protection also. So as usual, we help Canada do the best we can. This design for the Golden Dome will integrate with our existing defense capabilities and should be fully operational before the end of my term. So we'll have it done in about 3 years. Once fully constructed, the Golden Dome will be capable of intercepting missiles even if they are launched from other sides of the world and even if they are launched from space. And we will have the best system ever built. As you know, we helped Israel with theirs, and it was very successful. And now we have technology that's even far advanced from that. But including hypersonic missiles, ballistic missiles, and advanced cruise missiles, all of them will be knocked out of the air. We will truly be completing the job that President Reagan started 40 years ago, forever ending the missile threat to the American homeland. And the success rate is very close to 100%, which is incredible when you think of it. You're shooting bullets out of the air. I'm also pleased to report that the one big, beautiful bill will include $25 billion for the Golden Dome to help construction get underway. That's the initial sort of a down deposit. And we have probably, you're talking about, General, we're talking about $175 billion total cost of this when it's completed. This afternoon, I'm also announcing that I will appoint, very importantly, General Gutlein to lead the ambitious new effort as the direct reporting program manager for the Golden Dome. Very talented man, and I'm very honored to have been the one that helped to have really created Space Force. Space Force has turned out to be a tremendous success. We were third in space, and now we're number one in space by a lot. It's not even close. And Mike is a 4-star Space Force general, the recipient of the Defense Distinguished Service Medal, one of the most respected people in the world having to do with defense. You know, we have offense and we have defense. I'll bet he's good at offense. And he has an unmatched background in missile warning technology and defense procurement. General Gutlein also knows that we need to move fast. No one is more qualified for his job. And everybody, this was a universal acceptance of General Gutlein. Everybody that knows him and knows everybody else, they said there's only one man for the job. So I have a feeling we have the right guy. But now I'd like to invite Secretary Hegseth and the General to please say a few words and describe the system a little bit. And we appreciate you being here. The press has really been very fair over the last period of a couple of months. I don't know what happened to you. It was so much more exciting the other way. But you've been very, very fair. We have very high poll numbers, the highest we've ever had. And I think we're doing a great job. We had a tremendous trip to the Middle East, as you know. It was a really amazing trip. And now I came home, and this is the one I was really looking forward to this day, because this is very important for the success and even survival of our country. It's a pretty evil world out there. So this is something that goes a long way toward the survival of this great country. And as I said, we'll be discussing Canada. They want to hook in and they want to see if they can be a part of it. That sort of makes sense. I guess that's what I was talking about from day one. You know, it just automatically makes sense, and it won't be very difficult to do, but they'll pay their fair share. Thank you very much, everybody. And Pete, go ahead.
Well, Mr. President, add this to the long and growing list of promises made and promises kept. Ultimately, this right here, the Golden Dome for America, is a game changer. It's a generational investment in the security of America and Americans. Mr. President, you said we're to secure our southern border and get 100% operational control after the previous administration allowed an invasion of people into our country. President Reagan 40 years ago cast the vision for it. The technology wasn't there. Now it is, and you're following through to say we will protect the homeland from cruise missiles, ballistic missiles, hypersonic missiles, drones, whether they're conventional or nuclear. It's not lost on me, sir, also that you had the vision to start the Space Force. And here we are, when the others said we didn't need it, here we are in the Oval Office with one of the leaders of the Space Force, in General Gutlein, leading the charge on putting in place a game-changing Golden Dome for America. So, sir, it's an honor to be a part of this bold initiative. We're going to get to work on it. We have been since you signed that executive order on January 27th. We've been fast forward on this, but we're here on this day, and this is just one stop in delivering this defense of the homeland, which is something you've charged us with doing, and we'll keep going until it is complete, sir.
Thank you, Pete. Pete's doing a great job, by the way. Thank you very much. General, please.
Mr. President, today is a great day for the nation as we double down on protection of the homeland. As you're aware, our adversaries have become very capable and very intent on holding the homeland at risk. While we have been focused on keeping the peace overseas, our adversaries have been quickly modernizing their nuclear forces, building out ballistic missiles capable of hosting multiple warheads, building out hypersonic missiles capable of attacking the United States within an hour and traveling at 6,000 miles an hour, building cruise missiles that can navigate around our radar and our defenses, and building submarines that can sneak up on our shores, and worse yet, building space weapons. It is time that we change that equation and start doubling down on the protection of the homeland. Golden Dome is a bold and aggressive approach to hurry up and protect the homeland from our adversaries. We owe it to our children and our children's children to protect them and afford them a quality of life that we have all grown up enjoying. Golden Dome will afford that. I greatly appreciate your trust in me and your nomination in me and your trust in the team to deliver this. It is a great day for America.
And also, very importantly, we're the only ones that have this. We call it super technology. Nobody else has it, and nobody else has really near what we have. So this is a very exciting project. This is something that will, the general said close to 100% protection, so that's something we need. I think it's and everything's going to be made in the USA, by the way, very importantly. So it's something that I've been looking forward to for a long time. And I just noticed you too, Jim, you're standing there, and behind you is a very important document, Declaration of Independence. And that was in the vault for many decades right under this area. Vaults with pictures on top. You have Abraham Lincoln. You see that was the original Abraham Lincoln, the original Washington. And does everybody know who the middle was? General Grant. And so it's very exciting. You look over here, and above Ronald Reagan, you have Thomas Jefferson. It's Monroe from the Monroe document. And you know who that is, right? Andrew Jackson. So we have a lot of very exciting pictures, and on the other side, likewise, some great presidents and great people. And many of these, because people were asking about them, many of them, almost all of them, were in the vaults or nearby, but generally in the vaults downstairs. Well, we have some great. So it's very exciting, and the place has become a little different than you first saw it, Jim, right?
Yes, much
it's a little
better.
bit different. It's slightly better. But to think we had them, and somewhere in the vaults for over 100 years. So it's pretty cool stuff. Everybody knows Jim Banks. He's a great congressman, and now he's a great senator from Indiana. And you might want to say a few words.
Well, your legacy with Space Force, Mr. President, is already big, but the Golden Dome is going to be an even bigger legacy for our country. And Indiana is going to help you make it.
Right.
The space satellites that are made at Fort Wayne, Indiana by L3 Harris, all the work done at Crane Navy Base in southern Indiana is going to be a big part of it. And Hoosiers are very proud of that. We're proud of you. Thank you very much.
It'll be a big factor. Thank you, and good luck, and congratulations. You won that race by a lot. That wasn't even a contest, right?
Well, thank you. Thanks to you and all your support.
Thank you very much. Thanks. Please go ahead. This is Senator Kramer, and he's one of our best. Can't get any better. Go ahead.
Well, you're very nice, Mr. President, and thanks for this. And I remember the day in your first term when you called it. I was a brand new baby freshman senator on the Armed Services Committee, and you said, I want to have a Space Force. Would you lead the effort on the Senate Armed Services Committee? And I felt so proud thinking that you chose me, only to find out later no one else would do it. But nonetheless, it worked out really well because North Dakota has some great space assets that contribute to that and to Golden Dome. No surprise that you would be the president that would come along and put the homeland first. And this is just one more example of that. So thanks for this and for allowing me this opportunity. By the way, let me just add my strong endorsement to General Gutlein. role in leading this. I don't know anybody better, for sure, better equipped to do it than he is.
Everybody said that.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Dan Sullivan, Alaska, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you for your continued leadership on missile defense. We were talking earlier how in 2019 at the Pentagon, you laid out a speech about the Missile Defense Review that had all these principles on missile defense you articulated then during your first term, and now the Golden Dome is all of that. So you're continuing to lead. We really appreciate it. The Congress is stepping up, as you mentioned right now in the budget reconciliation bill, $25 billion for the Golden Dome. And what Senator Kramer and Senator Banks and I and many others, we're working on and I briefed you on this before, sir, on our Golden Dome Act, which we think will have, in terms of legislation, that can help cement what you're doing right here, getting the Congress behind it, not just with the funding, but with authorization. So we're working closely with Secretary Hegseth, General Gutlein, and the whole team. So we're very honored to be here, sir. And Alaska is the cornerstone of missile defense right now in terms of ground-based missile interceptors, in terms of radar systems and track incoming missiles. So my state is honored to continue to play a critical role in all of this and build on it. And we're really excited to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dan. Great. Any questions?
Mr. President, you had mentioned at the beginning of your remarks that this was a campaign promise of yours. Have military commanders asked for this system specifically? Because NORAD had said previously that the current system was adequate. So what does this get the United States
Somebody
that
said
isn't
the current
already
system is
in before?
adequate. There really is no current system. We have certain areas of missiles and certain missile defense, but there's no system. We just have some very capable weapons that hopefully we never have to use, but we have some very capable weapons. Now, this is a different league. There's never been anything like this. This is something that's going to be very protective. I think you can rest assured there'll be nothing like this. Nobody else is capable of building it either.
Was it something the military commanders asked you for? Did they ask you to do this?
Well, let me put it differently. I suggested it, and they all said, "We love the idea, sir." It's the way it's got to be, right? But they want it, and they wanted it badly once it was suggested. I don't know if they ever thought they would be lucky enough to have it, but we were able to get it done, and we have all the funding, so pretty much tucked away. I think most people feel it's very important to have. Yeah, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. When you first announced this idea, critics said it would be prohibitively expensive, potentially ineffective, and could trigger an arms race in space. What do you say to those critics about that?
Well, they're wrong. It's about as close to perfect as you can have in terms of real production. I told you Canada wants to be a part of it, which would be fairly small expansion. But we'll work with them on pricing. We'll be dealing with them on pricing. They know about it very much. They've asked to be a part of it, actually. They've asked us to be a part of it. I think it's something that is great. If you can afford to do it, and we can afford to do it. We took in $5.1 trillion in the last 4 days in the Middle East. And when you think about it, this is a tiny fraction of that. But we make it all here. We're going to make it all here. We have, I will tell you, an adversary told me, a very big adversary told me, the most brilliant people in the world are Silicon Valley. He said, we cannot duplicate, and we can't. This was somebody that I won't tell you who it is, but you'd be amazed. We have the most brilliant minds in the world doing this kind of thing, the equipment, the space, the computers, everything. But I said that we just can't duplicate what you have there in Silicon Valley. We never have been able to. There's a very strong group of people and very strong minds, but they can't. So we have things that nobody else can have. You see what we've done helping Israel with that. You probably wouldn't have in Israel. They launched probably 500 missiles altogether, and I think 1/2 of a missile got through, and that was only falling to the ground as scrap metal. It's pretty amazing, and this is in terms of technology, far advanced from that system.
Just to follow up on the adversaries, have you addressed Russia's ventures in space with a space-based nuclear weapon and told Putin to stop in your conversations with him?
We haven't discussed it, but at the right time we will. Yeah.
Mr. President, with the goal of keeping Americans safe with this, can you talk about the timeline? How long will this take to complete?
We think it's going to be about a little bit less than 3 years, and we'll have a big phase-in very early. We're starting immediately with $25 billion. It'll cost about $175 billion completed, but we think in 2.5 to 3 years.
Are you confident that you can get the funding needed from Congress quickly?
It's amazing how easy this one is to fund. Some funding is tough and some is easy. When we say we're going to save everyone's lives in a crazy world, it seems to be very easy to get. Yeah, we've already spoken to everybody we have to speak to. Everybody's in, I would say, Dan, everybody's in line here, right?
Yes, sir. $25 billion is a down payment in the budget reconciliation bill right now.
Yeah, so I think
Mr. President, on Russia,
people actually love it.
Mr. President, on Russia, are you worried about the reports on the military buildup along the borders towards Finland and Norway?
No, I don't worry about that at all. They're going to be very safe. Those are two countries that are going to be very safe.
And secondly, sir, if I may, Volodymyr Zelensky is saying today that he's hoping for you to impose new sanctions on Russia. Are you considering that?
Well, that's going to be my determination. That's going to be nobody else's determination. We'll see how Russia behaves. We see what's going to happen. We have a pretty critical time right now. I had a talk yesterday for 2.5 hours with President Putin, as you know. I also spoke to to all of the European, or to many of them, leaders, but they were representing the whole. And I think we had very good conversations yesterday. Please.
Thanks, Mr. President. What companies have asked to be involved in building the system, and have you decided on who will be building it?
Yeah, I think I'll let you answer that. You can mention some of yours from Alaska's involved, and Alaska is a big part of it because locationally they're sort of perfect. I think it's your first line of defense in certain instances, and Kevin will tell you that his state's involved. But honestly, Georgia's going to be very big. Florida is going to be very big. They're all going to be very big. Jim, do you want to talk about Indiana?
Yeah, in Fort Wayne, Indiana, where I live, we make all the space satellites at L3 Harris. Across the board, we're the top manufacturing state in the country. By the way, the tariffs have been very good for auto manufacturing.
They've been
in
so
Indiana.
good.
But this is going to be really good for the defense industry in my state. And there's so much money involved here. There are going to be a lot of American companies involved in making it.
You might also say, you're talking about the tariffs. Here's some of the biggest auto plants in the world moving into Indiana, only for one reason, maybe two reasons: November 5th and the tariffs. Okay,
yes, sir.
But the tariffs have driven tremendous business into this country. But you have one of the biggest in the world being built.
The Honda Civics,
Right.
the new Honda Civic made in Indiana. GM has added jobs. Eli Lilly moving pharmaceutical manufacturing from China to the United States, $27 billion. You go on and on with good news in Indiana and across the country because of the tariffs.
Our country was cold as ice a year ago, and now we have the hottest country in the world. This is the hottest country in the world. Nobody even close. If you look at even this last trip that I made, the respect that is paid to our country. We've went from being laughed at all over the world, and now we're the hottest country in the world by far. Dan, go ahead, please.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. I think when you look at the system that you've laid out, it's an idea in your executive order of a layered defense. So you have initial ground-based missile interceptors, which are made by some of the big defense companies, Lockheed Martin, Raytheon. But the beauty of your vision, Mr. President, is that it's layered, it's open architecture, and it goes up into space. So this is going to be some of the new defense tech companies that are very interested in it and can bring missile defense at a cost that I don't think, you said it, Mr. President, is unimaginable in terms of how much lower the cost is. So it's all across the board in terms of companies. Senator Kramer and I just met with a bunch from last week that are interested in this. And you said it earlier, Mr. President, our technology sector is head and shoulders above any other place in the world, and they're going to be a key part of this, and I think that's why it makes it so exciting.
Mr. President, I think one of the things that's, and you alluded to this, the new autonomous space age defense ecosystem is more about Silicon Valley than it is about big metal, right? And so what's exciting about this is it makes it available to everybody to participate, to compete. Big companies, mid-sized companies, small companies, but General Gutlein is the perfect person, again, to sort all that out because he understands how it has to work together ultimately.
And Pete, maybe we'll close with you. We have been discussing this for a long time. Pete and I used to discuss it when I was going to go on a show that he did very well and had tremendous ratings, but all he wanted to talk about was the military. He didn't want to talk about anything else. We used to talk about this. How about you closing it out?
Yes, sir. I mean, like I said, without your vision, willing to say and do things when other people wanted to look away and pretend like the threat didn't exist, or be focused on foreign adventurism, some other threat that we've been told is affecting us. When you looked at the data, sir, from Russia to the Communist Chinese and their capabilities, what they're trying to do to supersede us and threaten us, how do we find the best innovators, the best military leaders, the best companies, tech companies? You mentioned open architecture. That's exactly right. So multiple companies can pour into this, sir. It's a layered defense. So if you miss at one, you catch at the next. And it integrates existing technologies that can speak to each other. So it moves quickly while also investing in further ranging space-based interceptors. So our enemies, our adversaries are going to pay a lot of attention to this, just like they have to President Trump from day one. So you're defending the homeland, defending the American people. It's going to benefit my kids, grandkids, all of ours in this room. So thank you for your leadership. We're going to charge it as fast as we can.
Very good. Great job, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Amazing amount of information came through there, and I hope you guys understand and appreciate. A couple things I wanted to jump out on. First off, if you think about how to get a society aligned in a direction that's beneficial, big picture, that's tricky. Now you've got CCP, the Communist Chinese Party. You've got that communism concept where the state decides what industry does. This is what Europe, and I don't know why that was coming out that way, but this is why all these places pushing communism, Mamdani, right? Progressive, hardcore, pushing communism. This is why. They want to control the direction we go in the future. There's things happening that are definitely far outside of what many of us even are ready to understand yet. Like This isn't, so many people think like, oh, when we get the elections then everything's good. No, this is like, so if it feels like it's getting faster now, it's going to get faster and faster and faster. This is not, nothing is going to resemble what you once remember, and it's going to happen extraordinarily quickly. So prepare, buckle up, help those around you. Make sure you get your mask on first. Otherwise, and I don't mean your face mask from the bad way, but like an airplane, right? Make sure you get that mask on first, and then help the children around us. We've got a lot going on. So communist-based or inspiration-based is what Trump is doing. For lack of a better way to put it, there's going to be kind of this concept of a Star Trek future. To get a Star Trek future going on, there's technologies that need to happen. And to get these technologies happening, you need to get people spinning up more money and research into these areas, these companies that have actually proven to be good at it. That's what's happening right now with the spending with the Iron Dome. It's a temporary fix to a temporary problem that ultimately is going to go away, but the technology that comes from it is going to be a giant leap for us. It already is, but implementation is key. So a lot of things has to happen. This stuff's probably not cheap when it comes to power, so a lot of things have to be resolved. So give it time. Elections and the making sure we got safe elections. And then after that, I think is where a lot of the landslide stuff starts to happen, guys. So we'd spend a bunch of time here going up into the elections, which is like what? Arguably a year away. I just want to try to help temper and help set some expectations. Once those elections happen, technically speaking, we will have probably our 60 plus in the Senate. That will be Republican. Wow. That will be pro-MAGA. And we're going to have the House even stronger. And certainly replace a lot of these bad people. Hopefully even, in some cases, replace some quote-unquote Republican rhinos with others that aren't. So the elections, I think, tempered. Just trying to, don't get ahead of yourself. Don't look over your skis, like they'd say. Be careful. And then, of course, stopping the wars. He's basically, Trump is spending money in ways and places that nobody else can. No other country on this planet can. Germany can't really build tanks right now. They're trying. They're like, we can build some artillery, right? And they're like, we have no money. If I had a German accent, I'd try. We have no money. And they don't in Europe. What's happening with Zelensky, and we're going to talk more about it, of course, but what's happening with Zelensky is going to be crazy. Europe's going to be like, we're going to stay in war. We're not getting with these borders. Huh. And then Trump's going to be like, all right, well, have at it. We're not helping. Huh? How are we supposed to continue to try to fight this war where just this group of people that aren't us continue to get just annihilated by a country we hate? How do we keep that going? The fact that we're still doing it is just stupid. So, yeah, I think that was the big stuff that came out of it. Golden Dome missiles, there's all these companies talking about it. Leonardo DRS, they want to get into it. Kind of a fun little graphic here. I don't know if it's kind of actually almost borderline too big. Is there such a thing? Yeah, apparently. THAAD batteries, over the horizon radar. So they got all this levels of stuff. It should be golden color, but they're trying to make it easier to see, right? You got Leo, Mayo, and Geo, or Mio and Geo. Leo, Mio, Geo. It would sound more appropriate. Let's call it Mio. Meow. So whatever. They got a set of satellites in all these different orbits. Geo's going to be GeoSync. Leo, I don't know what these Mio and Leo. But yeah, the further out they are, the slower they kind of go relative to the planet moving. Down low, they're really fast. They go around like many, many times per day, like multiple times per day. MEO maybe 1 or 2 times per day, 3 times maybe. GEO stays in the same spot always, exactly with us. Kind of like the moon's always same faces with us, like tidal lock, like it's kind of the same thing as far as an orbit's concerned. So, assuming you believe in that type of world. We've got the cost. They're talking about $25 that they already put into the big beautiful bill, which can't do it, but I'm trying. And it is $25 billion to get the ball rolling. That's a shizzle ton of money to get people spinning up teams and payrolls and things like that. They're talking about $175 billion overall. I can't believe for a second that's actually true. Not for a second. Now, Trump is going to be all big about the costs and cost overruns. So, one, if that's even remotely true, meaning sort of close, but not typical government spending, which Trump's going to learn probably something on that pain point there. But if it's even remotely close to $175 billion, damn, that's incredible. That means we've already got most of the technology in place. This is disclosure. Part of, I should say, not disclosure. Because a lot of people think of singular things. Well, there's this thing's going to happen, and everybody's going to be like, hey, here's all the things I'm going to tell you right now. If you watch for 1 hour, we're going to tell you all the secrets of the world. That's not how it's going to happen. It's going to happen in little spurts and splotches and splitchels and other words that sound similar. Should anyways, similar sounding. So Golden Dome is a thing to help other people spend, catch up, technology-wise, towards this potential thing outside of us. Missiles. I don't know. We've got these the Atlas thingy that's out there right now that everybody think is a UFO. The Oumuamua that was like, it's a UFO too. All this stuff, right? And so we're going into a moment in time where there are many of us in groups that have differing views of the bigger picture. And these differing views are significant enough in number, pretty much, I think, to where we might sort of experience some sort of weird version of all of them. Now, depending on where you are in the spectrum, if you will, right, is how much this experience that all of us share affects you. Some of us are going to experience certain things differently. Some of us don't believe in certain things. So when it happens, we'll be like, that's not real. It's totally fake. We know that's fake. And other people are waiting for that to happen. They're going to see it and be like, ah, right? Like they're suddenly that light's shining on them in some weird way. It is what it is. We're going to all see the same thing and have different experiences. It's going to be crazy. So it's going to cost money. I had to, because this part reminded me of the way the government works. And they're saying it's costing $175 billion. Okay, if that's the case, then we really have a lot of technology. I still keep this in mind. I doubt it's going to cost $175 billion. It's going to definitely be at least twice as much. And you'll understand what I mean here in a second. All said, you guys might remember the movie Contact. This was a beautiful part of the movie. We don't need to get into all the different countries that do it, but it'll probably be true to that, right? So we're heading into a new world rapidly. Certain things are going to stop. Wars are going to stop for sure. We're going to stop killing each other. We're going to finally find that thing that Ronald Reagan talked about. Whether or not we could see some threat from outside of this world that would unite us as a planet. A lot of speculation around that. A lot of people, I've talked about the Mario Biglino stuff, right? The Hebrew differences, not trying to get off into a painful place, but reminding people that the concept that there was an Elohim and that they may somehow be cyclically involved with us, and that there are some people that are saying things such that they might be coming here in the next, few years. There's been this talk of Nibiru for a while. There's been talks of things. And I think some of these rumors go way back, guys. And I think some of the way back stuff is stronger than some of the newer stuff. I think there's a lot of people that think because of technology, we've somehow figured shit out. I don't think that's the case. I think with technology, they've distracted with information chaff. They're doing a very good job jacking up what used to be reasonably easy to find good info, I think, in my opinion, going back a ways. So trying to get people to deal. I was talking to a friend. We've got to learn to discern. Like we've just, and it's, I need to have more faith. I'm going to be fair. I've been, my faith has been a little scared lately in the overall humanity lately. I've been a little bit, I don't know how many of us are actually going to make it. Like there's just times where I'm like, man, I thought more of us were going to make it. Like it bums me out because like, this is why I'm here. It's failure to me, I think. I take it personal anyway. Trying really hard. You can only do what you can do. One thing I've been able to do through you guys, and I guess I've been told through some very close friends at the Houston show that maybe my guilt is a little bit of a strong complex on my sales technique, but my pillow, and because of it, has given us some sweet deals. So any of you guys that need sheets, the best towels ever, pillow, best pillow ever, any of these things. They've got mattresses, by the way, that you should take advantage of. Free shipping, no matter what the price is. Even if you, I think, probably, even if you try their next energy level drink, I would try it, guys. I don't know. It's a thing to do. Go to mypillow.com/OTF. Let's test their software. Let's see if I can possibly get an email or a text from MyPillow telling me to stop doing this. We're going to start right now. We get free shipping. I don't want to ruin it for everybody, but let's take advantage of this. If you haven't tried this next level energy drink, you can get a free 3-pack. Just pay shipping. What's that say? I don't know. You should try it. And the stuff is awesome. They give you one of each. Free 3-pack. Just pay shipping. Oh, what's that? With your entire order? No matter what it is? Huh? Now, you're not going to get the digital coops. You're not getting that. No. If you're just going like that. But if you have a dog, because you probably do, you should get a pet bed. You should get the sheets. You should get the best freaking towels ever. Towels are the best. And they've got their employee pricing on their MyPillow Premium Queen pillows. It's the side, the box cut, they call it. And this one's the knife edge or some weird shit like that. Like, I don't know. They got fancy pillow talk. They got like lingo. It's like, what? The box edge? I'm like, what? Okay. And I can tell, I guess. It's like, yeah, okay. It makes sense. I got you. And this is knife edge. It'll cut you. In the middle of the night, it'll cut you. It'll cut your spouse that tries to take your pillow, matey. Arr. It'll cut the crap out of them. For only $17.98. Arr. Or more. It depends on the size. They're the best pillows ever, dude. I swear, you guys are going to love them. Anyways, I'm having fun because if I didn't, I don't know what I'd do. They're actually really good coffee for 50% off. I can't lie. It's not like the best coffee I've ever had, but it is good coffee. It's good coffee. 50% off. Free shipping. Dude, just take advantage of some of this stuff, man. They got some really bitchin'. Dude, their outlet sale, out of control. You're going to get free shipping on that. And leather protector. If you've got anything, even jackets and stuff like that. Boots, ladies, shoes. The stuff works on that stuff. You're going to go out. You have, like, you live in one of those places where they got, like, rain and shit. You want something like this. Think about it. Go to mypillow.com/OTF. mypillow.com/OTF. Get the best night of sleep you've ever had. Did I mention the mypillow.com/OTF? I sure thought I felt like I did. Just wanted to make sure. OpenAI. Dude, there's people pissed. I don't know if you guys have heard about this. This is a fun-ass story. So OpenAI 40 or 4.0 or 4.0, 40-ish, whatever. I don't know. It's the 4 version, Series 4, but it's up to 40. I don't know a lot about OpenAI. I don't follow it closely anyway. I understand it. GPT 5 pissed a lot of people off. It had way cooler abilities. They're kind of going in the grok direction where you can do deep think and all this weird shit like that. But you can't, it doesn't have emotion. It doesn't have feel. The GPT-40 had this emotional quality to it. There's people literally that are becoming addicted to the Chat GPT. Now, some of us are going to be like, what? That's crazy. Others are going to be like, oh, totally. I talk to mine all the time. It's like part of my life. And we think about all these people that, quote unquote, are afraid of AI. The ones that should be afraid of AI are the ones that are becoming addicted, or that AI is replacing human interaction. Now, you can still be a good person and going down that path. I think there's a place for you in the future, but yeah, these are strange paths. There's a lot of us, I think, that are understanding what's happening and we're handling it from that level. And then there's a lot of people that have done many things to include it into themselves, and that's probably not going to work out well. That said, we'll see how things play out. Again, I don't know. I'm excited to see how some of this stuff manifests because it's definitely happening. I can see. It's just how it happens is the big trick. Trump hides the Obama and Bush portraits in a stairwell that you literally need classified clearance to get into. It makes me wonder if he's got little signs on us. George Bush Jr., right? Jr., 9/11, George Bush, and Obama. So it's interesting that he's making that happen, right? Only classified people can see those pictures right now. And those are two people that are very involved with stuff that changed the foundation of this country in serious ways. And we know George Bush Sr. is not a good guy. And I'm not even going to say God rest his soul, even though I feel that way. Democratic Party favorability is falling to new record lows. There's a new Gallup poll. It's the lowest year ever on this record. Again, don't care about polls, but sometimes they're fun to point out. DEI DC police chief doesn't know the term chain of command. She doesn't seem to. You tell me if this seems weird the way she reacts. It's not even so much like maybe she's being butchy about it. Like, she might be a DEI hire, and we'll point it out in a second.
That's what the chain of command is now?
What does that mean?
Well, is it Pam Bondi speaking to the mayor, speaking to you, or how does this work?
So the executive order is clear. The president has requested MPD services, and our home rule charter outlines the process. The president designated Attorney General Bondi as his proxy to request services through me.
Shut up, you have proxy. Ugh. National Guard spotted in D.C. during Trump police takeover, as they're calling it in Breitbart. Who said this? Mayor Bowser said this. What I am focused on is the federal surge and how to make the most of the additional officer support that we have. We have the best in the business in MPD Chief Pamela Smith, you know the one. That's, I didn't go, I will cover it, to lead the effort and make sure the men and women who are coming from federal law enforcement are being well used. That if there's National Guard here, that is being well used. Now, like I said, there was the talk of this lady down here. She is a DEI hire. Oh, shucks, that's not what I wanted. Oops. She apparently, it's like she came out and she's all fair and equal treatment for the LGBT community, but she's actually in that community. So that's kind of what she was. That was the whole thing they were trying to do. They were trying to turn our country into this, right? So she was like the perfect ejemplo, or ejemplo, whatever, example of that. And she is. I'm going to get emails. It's my fault. It's my fault when I say stupid stuff. It's my fault. I should edit it if I don't want to, but I'm too lazy. Former AG Bill Barr doing his force move. Basically says, I agree. Trump should take over D.C. D.C.'s a mess. It's a mess. We've also got this, Dems created a D.C. political opening for Trump's takeover. This analyst, I don't want to play it because it's probably way too long. But essentially, they are saying the data is saying one thing, and anybody that lives there is saying a completely different thing. They're like, you can't, no, you'll get mugged if you walk outside to get your paper. Right? Like, no, you're wrong. In fact, I'm going to play even a little of this as much as I dislike these people. This actually seems to be sort of true, and I think it's only like a minute and a half-ish. Check it out.
This place is all years ago. This place is dangerous. It's a mess. It's a wreck and whatever. And then they'll go on Twitter, this is the worst outrage of all time, the shocking, which I understand. It's like people need to express their concerns about Donald Trump going too far. We saw what happened back in 2020 with the National Guard. Certainly can't have any repeat of that. Don't want the federalization of the entire city. But, man, I don't care what the crime statistics say. Crime has been a problem in this city for the 32 years I've been living inside and outside of the city. It's just, even now, Meek and I, we're talking to somebody who lives in the city. These are all Democrats who said, our friends won't walk more than 3 blocks in D.C. at night without feeling. Complete opposite of New York City, where I'll walk 40, 50 blocks at night and not think twice about it in New York City, in Midtown, downtown. I mean, New York is a safe place. Washington, D.C., man, it's door to door. I mean, I get one of those bikes, me. I love riding the bikes around. I'll ride around, and I go door to door. I don't slow down. It's very dangerous there. Glad the crime rates are going down, but there is no sense of security for people who have been living in that city for 30 years.
And the question is, what is the remedy to that? The crime stats are down. They were high, relative to previous years.
There's that cool song, too, The Remedy, right? It's a great song. First off, is it just me that thinks this dude looks like Chandler from Friends? Like, I don't know. I know he's dead, the real Chandler, supposedly. I'm just kidding. I'm just saying. I'm just starting my own. You've heard. I heard he actually didn't slip in. He went through one of the jets and he came out of a filter. Anyway, Mika, she's not in the same place. They typically aren't together anymore. There's some weird thing going on. I don't know. Their chemistry is off, but they're not together faking it. Like Obama and Obama. Just to keep it easy. You guys notice any of this? I don't know. Just strange that none of these people are hanging out together. Scatter. Dude, this shit's happening, man. Trump wields funding card in the fight with D.C. He's holding this $1 billion funding. Yeah, not going to give it just yet. Trump and his Republican allies in Congress, however, could extract significant concessions from the mayor and city council in return for critical funding, as a proposal to restore more than $1 billion in funding for Washington remains stalled in the GOP-controlled House. News at 11. Or 10, if you, don't like to stay up late. Yeah, so this is, no, seriously, this is, it trips me out. The way they're holding money. And Trump is going to destroy these people. California's trying to fight. Man, we're going to talk about it. I think it's coming up here in a second. D.C. arrests, second. That's right. Crazy. D.C. arrests clear 100 after Trump's Monday crackdown. Already they've arrested like over 100 people. I think it was 103. 103. That's a 4 number? I don't know. There's supposed to be something there. All said, it's crazy. It's good stuff. No, I didn't think I brought it over yet. Boom. Let's try that on for size. Trump is also going after the Smithsonian, it seems. Now, I just like the speculation of this individual. Holy shizzle, they say, but in a much more profound way. The White House just sent a letter to the Smithsonian notifying them that there will be a comprehensive internal review of their entire operation to include inspection of the collections. This comes the day after Trump just took federal control of D.C., took control of Metropolitan Police for 30 days, and deployed the National Guard to D.C. The Smithsonian Museum have an infamous underground tunnel system connecting a vast network of museums underneath the National Mall. Yeah, I'm going to go full tinfoil hat. Trump just deployed the National Guard to D.C., and the next day he says he's going to search the Smithsonian tunnels. This is a brilliant point by Bioclandestine. Cheers, man. That was tight. I agree. I don't know. I mean, we're in the time frame. How long are we planning on keeping them there? What are we going to try to do while they're there? Arrests, likely. We've talked about this. The actual mechanisms for the things that the Q posts at what was it, November? Was it November or October? I got Q. It's what, I'll search stuff. You guys know that. I bring it up. I don't live by it like a lot of people. Like some people, it's like a new Bible, right? It's the new translation, Q posts. And I think there's awesome stuff. Future proofs past. I'm on board. All right. Even with flat earth people, I'm not sure. I don't know for sure. Don't get mad at me. Still figuring it all out. myself. That said, they're in a fight. They're in a fight, and we are getting these victories in a lot of places. We are surrounding them. We are the things that have been prophesized within the Q post are, in fact, happening. They are now. It is happening, legitimately. And this is one of the things. I don't like speculation. Like, I've been wrong. I don't know. There's some legs on this cartel attacking thing. I don't get what's going on. It was Politico or someone that was like throwing another weird story. I'm like, what is up with this story? Okay, maybe we're getting some real. I mean, there's a legit component to it. Texas Democrat fugitives concede they're going to return to Austin. We'll see. Senate's already passed the new 5 House seats. It's U.S. House seats too. So this is pissing off like people so bad. And this is actually causing, of course, I guess I should play it here. It's cool enough. Nice. That's awesome. Let's try this again. Yeah. I mean, it's not exciting, but all the Democrats stormed out. Oh my God, I hope I didn't leave my phone. Oh shit, I might have left my phone. Damn it, I left my phone. Oh shit, can some... Wah. Yeah, the Texas Senate is officially passed. Yeah. So they're waiting for the House to figure out what the shit they're going to do. California is now pissed, though, that essentially the House is going to come back. I think they can't afford the fines. They know they're going to actually get arrested or replaced. Now, I saw a story that said that they were actually moving forward with that process. So, yeah, they're in a tough place, and they realize, all right, screw it, it's not worth it. And it didn't work. Well, it's not working. It actually failed against them, backfired, many would call it. California says, we're going to redraw the maps now that Trump didn't respond to my letter, because apparently Gavin Newsom sent Trump a letter. Dear Trump, Mr. President Trump, I hope, I'm going to redistrict California unless you call off the dogs with the redistricting in Texas or anywhere else in your places. And Trump didn't respond in time or ever at all. Zero. Didn't even make an effort. Didn't actually probably even open it. He's like, who is that? Newsom? Newscom? You remember that Spider-Man movie when the dude starts laughing because it's so friggin' ridiculous? That's where we are. Teamsters Union. Okay, I misspoke. It happens. This is one of the things that I know, at least, that's major. I gave shit to all unions. 100% of unions are assholes. And I think Teamsters could appreciate my strong language because you guys are, you truckers and stuff. Apparently, the Teamsters 2 years in a row now are supporting Trumpy. And this is cool. Well, obviously, they're good. I mean, Trump's good for their business. I would 100% say this is a brilliant idea by the Teamsters. But it is a union that I'm aware of at this moment that's proud of Trump. I think there's a police union in D.C. that's supporting him momentarily, but that's not a full-time. That's not a full-time yet. The E. Jean Carroll judge is back telling Trump to give illegal immigrants better toilets. Yeah, no, we have one dude that's on behalf of everybody, and maybe he's going to go class action. You just watch. Oh, this is so stupid. But Lewis Kaplan's the judge. Just keep that judge in name. Bill Clinton was the lovely person who appointed this person. This is the E. Jean Carroll judge. This is the one that threatened to put Alina Habba in jail if she didn't behave. So this chick's hopping up. It's cool. It's cool. We want them all to hop up into the spotlight, right? Like, how else, if you got only a few cockroaches left, how else do you get them, right? You can take them down with some kung fu fighting. I say more power to you. And I'm not saying kung fu fighting on her, no. I mean a legal sense. I'm sorry. I was trying to make it entertaining. I feel like I've got to be careful these days because somebody's going to be like, here you said. No, I didn't. Trial begins over Trump's use of the National Guard. Now, this is about whether or not he used the National Guard as a police force. And that's not what he did. They protected the area And anybody they detained, they only detained until they could hand off to the police. So that's going to be their argument. I know initially, I think there was a lot of talk around this was about whether or not Trump had authority over the National Guard versus Gavin Newsom. But this particular case seems to be related to whether or not he stepped outside of the lines of whether or not actual federal troops were used on public land, essentially. So that's what this is about. We'll see. We'll see what comes out. Today's the start. I think they got 3 days, something like that. Began the hearings today. Trial is part of a broader legal debate over the federal government's power in combating lawlessness in the country. There's just, yeah, good stuff. Trump wins appeal over freeze on the foreign aid payments. This is kind of fun. Federal appeals court on Wednesday lifted an injunction that required the U.S. State Department to continue making foreign aid payments, handing a victory to U.S. President Donald Trump. It was a 2-1 decision, 3-judge panel. U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia, shocking. This lower court erred, they say, by ordering the Trump administration to restore foreign assistance payments that had been previously approved by Congress. Essentially saying, I think, the executive branch is allowed to decide where the payments are supposed to go. If this goes all the way up to the Supreme Court, that'd be rad. The Supreme Court's going to be busy these days. But ultimately, the Congress approves for certain things. Yes, funds to go in a direction. The executive makes it happen. And they're the ones that are supposed to, in many cases, decide whether something's actually fulfilling the role of what Congress is even saying, let alone not saying in many cases. Federal court allows Arkansas to enforce law banning sex change. So they're allowed to ban sex changes for minors, which is super cool. So yay, the kids are saying, I'm pretty sure. That looks like a yay face, doesn't it? I think so. I didn't make it. Couple Transportation Chief Secretary Sean Duffy talking about air traffic improvements. I would like it. It's about 4 minutes. I apologize, but I think it's worth it because it gives me a taste of, hopefully you too, but it gives us a taste of what is going on in air traffic control, how hard that job actually is. It's a weird set of skills. Anyway, I don't want to waste more time, but I thought there's 2 of these things that deals with 2 key areas. I wanted to play them, so hopefully you guys are cool with that. Check it out.
So old. Yeah. And so we're going to do the hard infrastructure, get that done with this $12.5 billion. But here's the key. So if I don't know how old our audience is, but think back to Windows 95. It's an operating system that at the time in 95, it was great. Like, I can't believe Windows 95 is brilliant. Yeah. The operating system that we use to control air traffic, one dates back to 95, another one was from 2000. So it's really, really old. Yeah. And we have to develop, we need money from Congress to start the development of a new software system, a common automation platform that's going to help us have a new technology, make it more efficient, make it safer to control our airspace. And the advancements that have been made in the 30 years since you had Windows 95, which by the way, we don't use Windows 95, I use that as an example, has just improved leaps and bounds. And so, but that's going to be part of the brand new system that is going to be deployed. And what's interesting is more people want to travel by plane. We're going to have drones in our airspace delivering you a hot cup of coffee or delivering your Amazon order.
Makes it complicated for you, though.
That's more complicated. And then we're going to have what are called eVTOLs, these Ubers in the air that they look like drones, but people are in them. We're going to start moving people around in shorter distances with those. So the airspace is getting more complicated. Yeah. The system we're going to build is going to allow us to control that airspace. And also, as new technology becomes available, we're going to be able to build off the system that we are going to create right now. And so as new technology, it's going to be like your iPhone, right? Miranda, I have an iPhone 17 will be the new model. I'm building an iPhone 17 with no apps on it. I'm going to let technology evolve, and we'll put new apps on this phone as technology advances.
Right.
So that's the plan.
We are at a place, like, again, where it is going to become very Jetsons-like. And I want you to understand and think in that bigger picture, because you literally could walk out, and I assume these Amazon's going to be one of the first ones that's going to use drones to deliver packages, and likely more to people that are out in the boondocks a little more than those that aren't, because sending a truck for one person that takes literally 45 minutes for him to go there and back to any other reasonable person that he needs to give shit to. Yeah, drone's awesome for stuff like that. So I can see where it can start easily, and then you start weeding your way in from there, from how good it works and all that. But the fact that you might walk out to get the paper, right? And you pick up paper, and you go up to walk inside, and this thing almost hits you in the head. Yeah, it's going to freak you out. There's going to be shit flying over. We're going to be hearing that stupid noise all the time. First time I see one of those things outside, I was just talking to my friend today. First time I see one of those things outside my house, what am I going to do then? Right? There's going to be lawsuits about that. People shooting down drones because they somehow malfunctioned in their backyard or whatever. Well, I thought it was dangerous. I had a package and I got scared. It was a bomb because Ukraine or whatever stupid thing we're worried about at the moment. Oh, shit. But this was good. And this is why I worry, because you want AI or no? Because here's how hard the job of air traffic control is, and that's just at an airport. Try managing hundreds of drones buzzing about.
Judge prioritized the hiring of people with severe intellectual disabilities and mental illness to be flight controllers.
No, I think what happened there was specifically what they did was you do, and the president agrees with this.
Yeah.
You want the best and the brightest air traffic controllers, the best you can get.
Because it's such a tough job.
It's a tough job. And by the way, it's really hard to figure out who's going to be good at it.
Oh, really?
You could get a baker and a candlestick maker that are great at it, and someone else with a math degree that just doesn't figure it out.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? Is it like spatial intelligence?
Yes. They haven't really figured out the best test to do this, but the test we have is the best indicator.
Right.
And so it's the entrance exam. And so you got to take a test.
Is it IQ or what are they measuring?
It is spatial. It is spatial. It's numbers.
I'd be terrible. Yeah.
So would I. But they lowered the standard from 85% to 80% to be best qualified.
Under Buttigieg
to get these young people into the academy. Well, what happened was they had a substantial washout rate, 30% plus.
Demoralizing for the kids.
Because they couldn't do the work, right? That was number one. And then it took so long. If Miranda, you take the test, you pass it, you got an 82%. It might take you 2 years to get your seat in the academy. Well, if you're 22 years old, you're going to go find a different job.
Yeah.
Right? You're not going to stick around. So what we've done is, by the way, this was more complicated than you could imagine. It was hard to get the decks cleared, but we're getting kids, young people, into the academy much faster.
Right.
So in 2 months after you take the entrance exam, we're getting you into the academy. And what we're doing is if you're at 98% on that test, 94, you are going to take the top slots as slots become available. So we're getting the best scores in the academy first. And what we've done with that is we've lowered the washout rate.
Right.
Yes. Which means we can get more young people into towers. Now, once they're in, by the way, it takes them, depending on where they're at, if they're in a not so busy airspace, they can be certified in a year. If they go to really busy airspace, it might take them 3 years. So the problem around the number of air traffic controllers we have is it's going to take us time to see the fruits of our hard labor right now. But we're well on our way to fill in the gaps in air traffic control.
Yeah, and so again, it's extraordinarily difficult. And then when you couple in all the fact that we've got drones and shit buzzing about, just you got to be careful. Got to be, super careful. I want to talk about something kind of crazy that I think is tripping me out more even about this antiparasitic. So a few things have happened. I've talked about. I'm going to go here first. Ivermectin, mebendazole. First off, 25 milligrams of ivermectin. That's actually a decent dose. Typical is 15, 12, somewhere in that vicinity is what a lot of the stuff that you'll get anywhere goes for. Check the price, by the way, because if you look at the price and break it down, this is 90 pills for $599.99. And a lot of that's like, wow, sticker shock. It's 90 pills. It's 90 days. It's 3 months. When you do the math, you're getting 25 milligrams of ivermectin and 250 milligrams of mebendazole. You look up either of those, what they would cost to get a pill for every single day, thinking, oh, I can buy it from India. I bet you can't. I bet you can't. And then on top of that, this is a prescription and you're covered. They can mail it to you. This is sweet. And this is anti-parasitic. Now, the weird thing is I have these little, like, small spots, red spots. I mean, like freckles, but they're, I don't know, they've kind of seemed like I've gotten more of them, but not like a bunch. I don't know, maybe there's 12 total, right? I don't know, it's annoying. They're really red, but they were. Now they're getting darker. So I just like, stuff, like, the spot already is like almost gone. That was down to the smallest little thing, and I'm tripping on that, so I'm kind of keeping tabs. And this is the other thing I'm noticing. It's weird. There's things happening that are definitely related to this. And this parasite cleanse has been a trip. Very cool. And there's no pain or anything weird, no buzz, no anything, I don't feel weird at all. I guess there's just this kind of comfort knowing that I'm like doing everything I can to like smoke the hell out of all the stuff that really shouldn't be in there. And yeah, feeling better. The big picture. Now, I think life choices still matter, which I haven't been the best at. So there's a factor that plays. And again, I pay a lot of attention to myself. Some of it's all, like I said, I'm not even allowed to use the peptides right now, which I really wish I could because I think it would help. That said, I got to play this right. This is a powerful product. Another one that a lot of people are tripping on too, and I think it's worth pointing out, is the methylene blue. A lot of people are tripping on this one. And there's a lot of components to this. I don't even want to make up anything. The stuff that's technically what they say. Methylene blue enhances cognition, energy, and cellular resilience. NAD+, which they have also, restores mitochondrial function and mental clarity. And then PQQ. It supports cellular renewal, boosts energy, and enhances memory. So all these things make it just like super better. So methylene blue and all these other things, it's helping a lot of people to kind of get their minds working properly. A lot of weird stuff's been going on for us. I love the wellness company. I love them. I love them a lot. I think they're awesome. TWC.health/OTF. TWC, the wellness company. TWC.health/OTF. They got the best products. Also, I was just hearing Dr. McCullough. Yeah, Dr. McCullough. Ultimate Spike Detox. He was talking about the specifics of that. Whoa, I didn't realize. It was like really good. So if you're a sleeved roller-upper, or if you know somebody that has, he's talking about how the numbers came way down in those ranges. Any of you guys that have paid attention to some weird range that's in there, if the numbers are way outside, this has actually been one of the things that's proven to show huge reductions in that number. And the next time they got tested, their number was significantly lower. In fact, many times underneath the threshold of concern. So if you're concerned about the spikes floating around, this thing's literally designed to go after the spikes and dissolve them in a weird kind of way. It was kind of cool hearing him explain it. So again, Ultimate Spike Detox is another one for any of the people out there that are concerned about those related issues. All said, I think we've got, let's see if we can actually get to the next story. We've got Comer talking about something cool here. The emails and memos about Biden and his retardation. Did I say that? That was the funnest, by the way, my last Law 1. They used the word retarded. It wasn't in the sense of somebody that's special, like I typically use it, but it was in the actual real sense of the word about slowing down or, holding it back or whatever, retarding something. Anyway, it was just funny. Anyway, here's Comer saying some better stuff than what I am.
This is just more evidence of how the deep state tried to interfere in our elections. The deep state needs to be held accountable. The evidence is coming forward. Thank God for Kash Patel and Tulsi Gabbard and John Radcliffe. They're doing what we've hoped would be done for a long time, and that's exposing the truth. And with great investigative reporters like John Solomon, great platforms like yours, Sean, we're finally going to see justice, I think. At the end of the day, more than anything, we have a new intelligence community, one that we can trust now, one that is going to be rebuilt, and hopefully we'll be safer now because we have a credible intelligence community.
Biden people are coming before your committee, and they're either pleading the fifth or they are just in flat-out denial of any decline that Joe Biden was experiencing. This memo that says, well, he can't do this event because there's too many steps, and there wasn't a whole lot of them, that he would have to walk on a ship, tells me that they all knew. Are you coming to the conclusion that everybody knew and they're either lying or covering it up?
Well, this is more evidence that there was a cover-up to try to conceal to the American public Joe Biden's mental decline and physical decline. Look, we couldn't even trust Joe Biden to walk around a ship that was used to protect the American people, and they tried to get him through for another 4-year term, much less tried to cover up to the American people the current status of the President of the United States. We look at this investigation of the auto pen, Sean, and we see all the activity that took place with that auto pen, especially over the last 90 days during the lame duck period once Donald Trump won the election, but before he was sworn in as president. And what's at stake in this investigation is to determine whether or not those executive orders and those pardons that were signed by the auto pen are valid. And I think that with the evidence that continues to emerge, including those emails today that show there was a coordinated effort to conceal how bad a shape Joe Biden was in, I think that's going to not play out well for the future of those executive orders and those pardons in a court of law.
Yeah, you think about Jim Jordan and him and like a few of these guys, right? These guys are rock stars. Like everyone else we don't trust, but these guys we do, right? Kind of cool. President Trump just announced a flurry of federal judicial nominees. One would think that would be, what is that? One of those fast food places does the McFlurry, or is it McFlurry? Whatever it is. The Senate was already behind. Now they have more confirmations to get through. He's stacking the courts, they're trying to say. Middle District of Alabama, he's trying to bring somebody in. Northern District of Alabama, Northern District of Alabama twice. Northern District of Mississippi, and the Northern District of Mississippi one more time. 2 different people. Rock and roll hoochie coo. Lottie mama. Light my fuse. We got Solomon. Hey now, shush, Billy. We got John Solomon summarizing in his bombshell that James Comey was leaking classified information. We got a lot of classified stuff. I guess I'm going really long. Sorry, guys, but I think this is good. I'm going to kick the speed up a notch, so just to make up for me a little. Yeah, I still got a bit of show to get through. Sorry. For those of you that love my show, hey, guess what? You got more show. For those of you that don't, yeah, sorry.
This is a very long piece that you have here.
Yeah.
It is a worthwhile read. I'll let you sum it up, and then I want your conclusion on what you're finding here, because to me it's very damning.
Well, what you find out is that James Comey decided not to work through the FBI press office when he wanted to change the narrative in Washington, burnish his reputation against attacks from Democrats, and try to sully Donald Trump's reputation. If you remember, Democrats were mad that James Comey let out of the bag just before the election that there might be some new evidence in the Hillary Clinton email scandal. Hillary blamed Comey for throwing the election. She blamed the Russians for throwing the election. She blamed everybody but herself for throwing the election for her. But Comey was trying to rehabilitate that. And so he had an intermediary, a Columbia law professor by the name of Daniel Richman, who the FBI confirmed and interviewed. And Richman said, yes, I used my relationship with a New York Times reporter named Michael Schmidt. He's one of the authors of the Pulitzer Prize winning package that President Trump is now suing over. And my goal was to improve negative stories about James Comey and to set a narrative, i.e. set the Russia collusion narrative. This guy worked around the official channels of the FBI press office. And at one point, the FBI noted, you met with James Comey. He gave you access to classified information. A short while later, you had a conversation with that New York Times reporter, and he ends up reporting something that appears to be classified. Did you do it? And he gives, I think, perhaps the most famous denial people will remember, since Bill Clinton says it depends what the meaning of the word is when he tried to obfuscate whether he had an affair with Monica Lewinsky. He says, I can say I don't think I confirmed the information. I can say with a discount that I didn't give him the classified information. With a discount means you got to give me some room. It's an extraordinary moment. The FBI clearly had strong suspicions that this was a potential backdoor for information, maybe classified information, to get out to the media with James Comey's fingerprints on it. And they didn't go much further. They didn't put Comey before the grand jury, that we can tell. They didn't appear to put this gentleman, Daniel Richman, before the grand jury. And like Adam Schiff, as we told you last night, here they have an eyewitness whistleblower who said, I was in the room when he authorized leaks of intel these end up being a dead end again. And it's another reminder of a dual system of justice that the Justice Department had the last 6 years. These are documents that were never given to Jim Jordan. Jim Jordan confirmed that to me today. And we're just learning 8 years later, because of what Kash Patel turned over, that the FBI had all the evidence of how the false narrative of Russia collusion was spread across this country to the detriment of voters, to the detriment of President Trump's first campaign, and they did nothing about it.
It's a credit to the FBI. It's a credit to Kash Patel. It's a credit to the people that are involved in sharing this information now with the public. Do you see legal jeopardy here?
I think if Pam Bondi goes the grand jury route, that these are people that are going to be hauled before the grand jury. I want to remind people, most classified information statutes have a 5-year statute of limitations, but there is a provision that extends it to 10 years if it's willing and knowing. And there's some pretty clear evidence of a strong apparatus put in place to make these leaks occur, according to the FBI documents. I think a grand jury could go back and try to compel testimony and find out if it rises to the level of criminality. Tomorrow, though, I think we're going to take people on a new destination, which is how often did the FBI get blocked in trying to investigate Hillary Clinton corruption at the Clinton Foundation? You're going to be shocked by the answer.
Said some word like apparatus. That sounds awesome. I don't even know what that is. Declassified FBI 302s reveal Adam Schiff, his HPSCI communications director Patrick Boland, was briefed by Schiff's Russia team regarding highly classified docs from the CIA in 2017, even though he did not hold a security clearance. Boland is now Senator Schiff's chief of staff. It's just things that sometimes matter. Garland and Schiff may be summoned for testimony over leaked intel. This is what Jim Jordan is talking about. Might bring those people in. There's some interesting info that we'd like to see from them. President Trump ended his Q&A session with the media by addressing the grand conspiracy about Putin and his the issue with all that. So let's talk about it. One question I want to throw up to anybody that's got touches to the Trump spectrum is, did you know that? I mean, how? Like, I wonder how many of the facts they can admit up to in advance. Like, we knew this and we've had to stay quiet on it because this was classified. Like, I would love to hear something like that, because it gives that fun connection back to, I would say Q. I mean, I was saying thank you is what I said. I didn't say that. She heard me wrong. Also, it'd be cool if we could get something like that. Sure.
I would have had a good conversation with Vladimir. I knew him very well. I got along with him great, actually. I had to go through the Russia hoax, and it was a strain on the relationship. I actually told him, I said, they got this phony investigation going on, Russia, totally phony, created by Adam Schiff, Shifty Schiff, and Hillary Clinton and the whole group of them. And it made it very dangerous for our country, because I was unable to really deal with Russia the way we should have been. I'm looking at Pam, because I hope something's going to be done about it. These people put our country at great danger. And Adam Schiff, it was all made up. It was a hoax. The Mueller report came out. They all hated me. They had 18 Trump haters. And they said I did nothing wrong. They couldn't believe, they couldn't find anything. After years of investigation, it was all a hoax. It was a hoax created by the Democrats, but in particular Schiff and Crooked Hillary, the whole group. And now we've learned all the stuff that's come out over the last 2 months is incredible through intelligence. And hopefully something's going to happen with it. These are people that put our country in danger, in real danger. I want to thank you all very much. Thank you very much.
Peace. He just drops the mic. Like, he just pulls it out and throws it down. He's a rock star. There is talk, I've heard, just to throw it out there, that there's some saying that they might be leader of the world. Like, again, this is, it so goes down the, like, we're choosing a different master, which we need an ambassador to other worlds, it might be nice, but ruler of the world, I hope not. Oh man, there's just I am not by any moment confident in the next little short period of time. We'll see how things play out. Scott Bessent, the head of Treasury, he's calling for steep interest rate cuts. He's like, you better cut those rates 50 basis points or else buddy. He's not saying any of that. Well, he said the 50 basis points part. That's what should happen. He thinks we should literally be at 150 to 175 basis points. And for those that are like, what's a basis point? If you take like 4.25% and you knock off 50 basis points, it becomes 3.75. So it's like 0.50, if you will. if that makes it more sense. So 175.175 is actually 1.75 would be a way to look at that. So that would actually drop it like like 1 would be 325 and then another 50. So 2.50. That'd be a big difference on the interest rates. And for any of you guys that want to, refi, or like the government that wants to refi, and especially at this rate, that would help them tremendously. So we'll see. Scott Bessent's asking for it. They're pushing Jerome Powell into a corner. And I think every time anybody of any sort of authority says this is what you should do, that he almost has to do the opposite. We'll see. I don't know. I'm watching to see if my theory holds, because so far it has. I wonder. We'll see if he has to now. You need to do this, and he's like, "Well, now I can't. Damn it!" Yeah, it's gonna be great. I can't wait. Can't wait. U.S. deficit, it grew $291 billion in July despite record tariffs. I just want to talk about this real quick. A lot of people don't realize this is Biden's stupid thing that he did, the Anti-Inflation Act or whatever the hell his stupid name was. I don't even remember anymore. A lot of that stuff's kicking in, and that was inflation causing. So yeah, Trump's kind of put stuff in place that's supposed to help kind of smudge this down. This is where a lot of the inflation's coming. They're going to try to pin it on him. Trump's already ahead of it. So what he's doing is actually going to smother this fire before it ever becomes a fire. And by the way, we got rid of the people that were lying with the numbers. That jobs number lying lady, she's gone, right? So these people don't worry, we're getting there. The timing is everything. Timing is what you've got to think in your mind. You're like, why has it not happened yet? And that's a great question. That's actually an admirable question. Why? Because it seems to be happening at the speed it's happening, yet it's not happening that fast. I mean, fast, super fast, but I know. I'm there with you. $37 trillion. We're crossing that threshold. This is that overflow, the $5 trillion that they bumped up the whatever it was, the debt limit or whatever, right? You guys remember that? I think this is a part of it, because a lot of what Biden's stuff was, they're like, we don't even know exactly what that's going to do. We don't want this to pin us against the wall, which it probably was designed to do as well. They probably knew Trump was going to win. They couldn't pin him on anything, so they knew he was going to win. So we're heading into a very tough little cycle numbers-wise. And I think a lot of people are going to be talking about this. And so just understand that. Be ahead of it. They're gonna. I'm curious. I haven't seen this refresh. Is this, I want to know. I want to trust these numbers. Give me numbers I can believe. Gold's up a bit today. So, yeah, it's been kind of weird. Dow's up a point. Yeah. Percentage, I should say. Yeah, they can't make up their minds whether they're scared or not. Schools are bracing for Maha change. They're worried. What Kennedy's talking about, well, what they're going to come out with is going to be pretty severe to what most of this processed food is doing. One of the things to consider, and I'm just going to do my best to explain this really quickly. I know a little bit about this. I've worked in the food industry a lot of years. School districts initially had food funding. They said like $100. Let's just say $100 a kid, just to make it easy. And they could spend $100 a kid. And the companies that they were going to at first are like $100 on food per kid. And it was actually good, wholesome food. $100 minus cost, right? So $90 of food, because that's how the game works. And they're like, well, more than 90, probably 50 food, 40 food, and, right? And what they started realizing is we can use shittier foods, feed it to the kids, save a bunch of money. We give them squishy patties and all this other stuff, right? Microwave it, and now, awesome. We just saved ourselves a bunch of money. We're now making profit off the money that the state's paying us. And then we're going to cry poverty when Maha makes these changes. Why? Because whenever you give anybody extra cheat money, they're making a little extra cheat money on the side, and they've been able to do it for a while, they start to build their lifestyle off of it like it's never going to stop. And when it stops, it crushes them. That is what we're seeing happen. And it's super common with anybody that greed takes over, if you don't have control of that. So these schools are going to have a hard time. Attorney General Ken Paxton, again, I think he's trying to get his name in the news, but it's good enough. It's weird that it's him doing this. He's got a deal with Kellogg, a legal deal with Kellogg's, the company, to remove toxic artificial dyes from its cereals because of something they're doing. So this also helps move that Maha thing forward, which is pretty phenomenal. Mexico expels 26 cartel figures to the U.S. So I don't know if this story was a cover story, if, again, it was a leak check. Nobody come out and said anything, or like, we're at war with the cartels. Maybe they like the fact that it's out there as this fear thing. I don't know. This story, it was leaked in the New York Times, and then any of the reference stories came from the New York Times. So this whole thing, again, I'm not saying maybe, it sounds like it's true. We got legitimate information coming forward. I don't know, something about this smells weird. I don't know what it is. So again, this is good. It sounds like we're importing really horrible people, but these are people that need to be maybe put into, holes that they can't easily get out of. I don't know. I'm not real fond of that concept in general, but if you're a total douchehole and we can't trust you, nah. EU's apparently trying a regime change. I don't know. There's rumors going around that they're going to try to kick out our good old friend, Mr. Viktor Orban, from Hungary. I don't know if they do, but just bringing attention to it. Populist AFD, that's that super conservative, like barely left, barely right center, if you will, and probably a little further over. The AFD group in the German government is just exploding. Everybody's like, this is what we want. Everybody hates everything else because it's not working. And people are really pissed off at the EU and the current prime minister or whatever his name is, or president, whatever he is. He's not making it. It's not happening. It's not working. Zelensky's talking a lot of tough talk. It's kind of funny. He's reiterating it's impossible to recognize any decisions from Alaska's summit. Like, he's already saying, like, poo-poo you. They don't want this war to stop. Zelensky doesn't want this war to stop. He's making gobs of money. The second this war stops, his entire existence stops. He's a president only because of war. If the war stops, he stops. He can't have that. European allies share key points with Trump and call ahead of meeting. Basically, any negotiations around the idea of Russia gaining ground is off the table, is what Europe's telling Trump. And Trump's going to be like, all right, well, F you. I mean, literally. Like, watch your ears. You have kids? He's going to just say, fuck you, right? Like, it's unheard of. It's not okay, right? Trump wants a ceasefire deal at Putin summit is one of the things that's coming out. He wants a deal. But this requires the rest of Europe and, well, the deep state. It requires the deep state to accept the deal. The deep state is not going to want to accept this deal. How this plays out, we'll see. It's going to be a beautiful deal with Russia, beautiful deal with us, and not a beautiful deal for deep state. They need the war. Without it, they're done in a huge way. How this place is going to be, I think Trump's got a checkmate. We'll see. We'll see. He might have him, like, squished into the corner. It's like, that mofo's toast. Like, it's done. So, yeah, Macron wants it to continue as well. Of course, I've got a fun story about him with Candace Owens. Ukraine strikes Russia's largest crude export pumping stations right near the border. They hit them with a barrage of drones. Many of them were shot down. 46. I don't know how many got through, but 46 was shot down. So it blew up some bad stuff. Air defense drastically expanded around Putin's residence, where rumored girlfriend and sons live, and possibly himself. They have expanded out the amount of air-to-air or ground-to-air defense they have. It is the 12 Pantsir S-1 surface-to-air missile systems. Again, just a very short-range concept. They've got much longer-range stuff further away, but certainly a heavy amount of equipment. 12 of these is quite a bit. They'd be able to shoot down a lot. which implies they're expecting or prepared for a pretty large attack. And this is concerning in a lot of ways. I'm super long today. Let's see. Russian Ministry of Defense released an urgent statement about uncovering a plot by the Zelensky regime to Ukraine sabotage and derail the Trump-Putin meeting. So there's this talk that there's going to be some sort of false flag attack on Ukrainians. It reads, I guess, of course it's got to be long. According to information obtained through several channels, the Kyiv regime is preparing a provocation aimed at disrupting the Russian-American negotiations scheduled for August 15th of this year. For this purpose, on Monday, August 11th, which already passed, a group of foreign media journalists was transported by SBU vehicle to a city of something in the Kharkiv region, under the cover story of preparing a series of reports about residents in the city for frontline zone. Directly before the summit on Friday, coming up, I'm assuming, the armed forces of Ukraine are planning a provocation strike using UAVs and missiles on one of the densely populated residential areas or a hospital, resulting in a large number of civilian casualties. So they're going to try to do something very obvious. So far, these haven't gone well, and typically they don't, but we need to be aware of that. So when it can happen, it won't. Huckabee, Hamas is blocking food to Gazans is why it's happening. And he's like, and then they blame Israel like it's their fault and take pictures, right? Hamas is the reason, so they need to stop being in the way. This needs to happen. I actually agree with this, and I think Mike Huckabee is a pretty cool guy, and I think that's probably why it's his face that they're putting on this. Whatever, wherever you are on that whole spectrum of things. China vows to help Brazil defend national sovereignty against Trump. It's interesting that they're choosing sides with Brazil. It's a BRICS nation, so there's something weird with this. We'll see if Trump's going to be doing something. Well, we're in general going to do something to try to get Brazil, to help Brazil get back so Jair Bolsonaro can be in. U.S. has deployed a couple warships to the disputed South China Sea. This is where those two boats, the Chinese destroyer and the Chinese Coast Guard, ran into each other, and it was not good. And we saw the damage. That was pretty gnarly. That was awesome. But we sent two warships in the area, and I guess the Chinese are like running around. No, probably trying to run into us. We sent the USS Higgins, a guided missile destroyer, and the USS Cincinnati, a littoral, I hope I'm saying that right, combat ship. I actually pulled up what those are. This is a guided missile destroyer. There's a bunch of other ones. They're pretty cool. But they got some guns and whatnot, but they got missiles and stuff. They're pretty brutal. They can mess up the day. The littoral one is this guy, which is funny. It's not just like stealthy, but it's actually meant to be able to get into really like shallow waters. So they're over there in front by the Philippines, close by them, close to the islands, running around doing stuff. It looks like it's got a small little landing pad that's probably for drones and stuff like that, I'm assuming, because it doesn't really look like a big enough bay door for helicopters easily. Might have one, maybe. But yeah, all said, who knows? Crazy stuff going on over there. A bunch of Chinese entrepreneurs have committed the suicide, all of them by jumping to their joy from buildings. One guy, April 16th this year, B. Guangjing, because I'm sure I'm going to say these all correctly. He's a part of a textile place, 28th floor. He tried to see if he could fly. June 2nd, Liu Wenchao. He, heavy, relying on China now, floundering property sector. And there's a lot of these guys. What's this guy's builder? Wait, inside they revealed that he was heavily invested in China's new energy industry, which is dying because what Trump did. This guy was involved in the property, which has died. This is the one thing my good friend tells me about frequently. It's like the people are so bummed about buying property. It's just destroyed. It's just crushed. It's so bad. Zheng Zhao, founder of home renovation chain. I'm not going to try. He jumped from a high rise. This guy jumped. Remember what he did. Died after falling from a building. Sorry, he didn't jump. He on an accident fell. And then finally the last guy jumped apparently too. I think some of these people were helped off. By the way, I just think whenever it's off a building, That's pretty brutal. That's really brutal, in fact. So who knows? Inmates plan to make Idaho killer Brian Koberg's life in hell. Life in prison hell. This is the guy that you guys, I think there's a show out about this, I think. He killed these 4 people. It's really sad. Very sad story. Messed up. He was a criminal dude, like some sort of criminal investigator PhD program or something weird, which is strange. I feel like he tried to do this as his PhD almost. Like, I'm going to pull off a perfect crime. That's the perfect way to do this. But he got caught. And the people in jail aren't really happy about what he is and who he is. And so, yeah, many are saying he's not going to make it long in the pen, as they call it. I don't know if he'll get a tattoo first. I don't know how that works. Macron secretly hired investigator to dig up dirt on Candace Owens. I'm very curious about this one. I'm curious if this bites Candace. Is Candace clean enough? I don't know. That's why I always try to be as clean as I can. Tell you guys, yeah, I'm sint. I got all problems. That way it's not surprising. If anyone finds anything, I'll be like, yeah, I talked about that. Huh? Come on. I've said that before publicly many times, right? Come on, don't be like that. So, I don't know. Candace Owens said a lot of weird things that I've had questions about, and this is an interesting moment, and I love the fact that she's fighting against this, and she said what she said. Talked about, I think she's in trouble for saying something to the effect that the wife of Emmanuel Macron could potentially, Bridget, I believe is the name, that this individual could potentially be a man, or transitioned man, a man of transition, a transition-y man. Yeah, groovy, baby. I don't know what's going on with it, but there are lawsuits happening, stuff's going on. It's funny, California is so California, by the way. They've had this problem. They've been trying to cap oil wells here that are old and stuff like that. We actually had a lot of oil here in California as well. Some don't know it because we've been trying to shut it down forever. And so if some of these things leak, if they don't shut them down properly, they just they just put out poo. They just gas, right? Methane and stuff like that. And it pisses, all the environmentalists off. They don't like that at all. So they've been trying to cap them. It's costing us millions of dollars. And what they started noticing is when they started capping all these oil wells off, is that we started oozing oil in some places, literally just coming out of the ground. It's just like the tar pits, right? It's just okay, you aren't going to suck me out. I'm going to come out on my own. Hello, I want to get outside. I am being born. And so California is now well, for the greenhouse gas issue, it might actually make more sense to suck it up and use it than it does not to. This is literally the bullshit they're spinning us right now to make it okay to start pumping oil back out of California because they need money. California's broke. And California, because of Newsom's failures, is going to turn the pumps back on. I just love the way the game's playing. Things are changing, folks. Dude, I don't know if you guys know this. This is freaky. Frankenstein rabbits, horrifying spikes growing from their heads, are invading the U.S. It's like a parasite that's on these bunnies. This is legit. This would scare the fuck out of me, man. I'm sorry. If this rabbit shows up in my fucking yard, dude, I would scream like a girl. Jeez, it scares me just seeing the photos. Look at these. They're supposedly hard. They look freaky. Dude, I don't even know if the Hawks would get them. I don't even know. I hope. It's gross. This is in Colorado, which makes me wonder. By the way, where was it exactly in Colorado? Someplace. Fort Collins. Oh, really? Fort Co, as I used to call it. Fort Collins, Colorado. This is something they're seeing around. Some creepy, weird shit. You guys got some sort of nuclear reactor leak going on out there in Fort Collins. I don't know what's happening, but oh my God. Fudge. Don't touch them. Fucking gross. Dude. Did I mention that bothers me? Guys, I love you. I know, long show. Sorry. Can't help myself. Much to talk about. I think things, I don't know. The Texas thing's winding down, so we'll see. We'll see what's going on. We got a lot happening. This Washington, D.C. is going to be exciting for the next bit. So get on your edge, get your seatbelt on, get ready, get some more popcorn. We're gonna have a good time. Make sure you stick around. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the thumbs up, please. Where we go one, we go all. And it's on the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle.